There you go. All right, everybody, welcome. Today is the 11th of July. Welcome.
Whoops, that isn't
It's
one.
Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. The recording has started. Who will take our roll call?
I'll do the roll call.
Okay, great. Thank you.
John Barbera.
Here.
Vic Christensen here. John DeMiglio.
Here.
Dan Dixon.
Here.
Craig Goldfarb and Cynthia Gagne are both excused.
Okay.
Gwen Henry.
Present.
Melanie Lebrecq.
Here,
Kelly Miller.
where'd she go?
I think it was the car seat. Come back to her.
Okay.
I'm here.
No, I see her.
I'm
Okay.
sorry if you called my name. I'm sorry. All of a sudden you guys went, I couldn't hear you anymore.
Okay, I got you. Alec Norman. If you're not speaking, please mute.
I'm here.
Ray Regalato.
Here.
Thomas Norman.
Here.
Adrianita Reyes Cruz.
Here.
David Samperio said he would be here late, so at this point he's an excused tardy.
Okay.
Angela Sumner
Here.
and Chris Valle.
Here.
Okay, we have 13, so we've got a quorum.
Very good. Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 2, and that is general public comment on non-agenda items. We'll let anyone who might be speaking, we'll give them 2 minutes each. Okay, I see one hand up so far. Mr. Christensen.
Just a heads up, the July meeting Zoom invitations have gone out for those for meetings that haven't occurred yet. When we get to August, there are going to be new invitations being sent that have new webinar IDs. So in particular for committee chairs and anybody who saves the meetings to their calendars so they can just go to the calendar and open the meeting there. You need to make sure that you pay attention to the August, and this will go through August through December invitations, so you can change the webinar ID to the new correct ones. And that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen. Any others? I do not see any other hands. Let me double check. Okay, no hands on the attendees. So, okay, why don't we go ahead and move on to agenda item number 3, which is our homeless liaison report. Lori Jacobs, if we can move her over.
She can talk now.
Oh, okay. He said you were going to move me over, so
Consider yourself moved.
okay.
If
I
you don't
didn't-
need to share your screen, then we can do it this way.
Okay, I just didn't see my picture up there, so that's what-
Vic, I'm having an issue with my computer at this moment. It's frozen on the agenda.
Okay, Lori, you don't have anything to share, right?
Yes, she has a
yes, I
homeless
do.
liaison
Oh, you do?
report. I'm trying to get it and my computer is frozen.
if you want to allow me to share, I can share it, but I don't see myself as a panelist up here to
No,
be
you
able to do that.
aren't.
You're there. I see you.
Well, you're not a panelist, but you are showing on the screen. Lori, are you able to stop sharing?
I can stop it.
Sorry,
just-
Melanie, not
yeah.
Lori, Melanie.
I hadn't started yet.
Yeah, sorry. All right, I'll move you up, Lori, so you can share and then we can,
And then
Let me
I'll,
try and share it one more time, Vic.
Well,
well, I
from
have it on my
stopping
screen, Melanie, if you want.
Okay,
did you get the notice to move over?
I did not.
All right, let's try it again.
I did just now.
Okay.
darn it. What's going on with this thing?
See Lori.
Okay, I see I'm muted. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Where are you?
Oh, you kids.
I gotta make you co-host.
Okay.
So much for
Now
those,
you should be able to.
so much for those Mac laptops.
Okay.
No, that's a Vic brain top.
I had it open here. Hold on a minute here. Homelessness Liaison report. Okay, why is it not?
Here's your
Goodness
screen share.
gracious. Yep, I'm
It
getting
started
there.
And then it ended.
There we go. All right. You all can see that now, right?
Yay.
Okay, we're moving on up. Okay, well, hi, everybody. Hope you're all having a good week so far. So as usual, I'm always going to remind everybody to remember lahop.org as a place to report information. Should you see somebody in trouble on the streets, I don't recommend you approach them. You report this to there, and it triggers an outreach team to come out and help them. And if you're interested in attending the CD15 working group meeting, where we go over a lot of issues throughout the harbor area on homelessness, okay, it says right here for you to go ahead and email Joelle at chikimpact.com, and she'll put you on the list so you'll get updates on the meetings and meeting minutes. Current information on shelters were as of July 5th. Some of the shelters have still been experiencing off and on quarantines, which affects them not being able to have new intakes. So I won't read them all. The numbers are right there in front of you as to how many we have. We're still looking for landlords who have units available to rent and will accept a housing voucher, which can guarantee them getting their rent paid on time. And they could just email me at my work email address, and I can help out with that. We've all anxiously been awaiting the homeless count update, which was going to be in May, then June, and now September. And we got notified last week by HUD that the validation of data wasn't going to happen until mid-July. And there's a whole process they have to go through to verify the data. Honestly, I have no idea why this delay has happened. It's very frustrating because our resources allotted to help on programs is based on the homeless count. So hurry up and wait is what's going on there. I'll keep you up to date as soon as I get information. I wanted to share this new Homelessness and Housing Hub website that Controller Galperin put together. He's always so good on data and transparency. And if you're interested in data on homeless counts, whether it be city, county, LAHSA, and other agencies, you can click on that link and get a lot of very interesting data. And I know I have some people on the board that are interested in looking at that. Next month, I could pull up some specific data that you might find of interest. I wanted to focus on, I always pick a few things to focus on. There's so much to share on solutions. And last week was amazing. So they had the launch of what they're calling the 3290 Temporary Housing Village and a homeless court in Torrance. And so this is a 40-unit tiny, they're calling it a tiny home community. It's basically the pallet shelters. And the first day, they already brought in 16 people who'd been experiencing homelessness. They have room for 30. As of Friday, they had 28. I think they're going to be full before this week is over. It is truly amazing to see this. Now, why am I sharing something in Torrance when we're in the harbor area? Because I want you guys to be familiar with programs that work. We really need to push to get something like this in our area. There is one in Wilmington that has 75 units. And This one is totally modeled off of the program first started in Redondo Beach. So anyway, I just wanted you to see this. It really comes with wraparound services, case management, housing navigation. I was looking at a report from Sherry Weaver today. They have 3 showers and bathrooms. They have laundry. They have 24-hour security. They have a dog run, everything they need to get these people back on track. Now, at the same time, they're working on adding a homeless court right next door to this in that Torrance Civic Center, which would be great. So people who have maybe misdemeanors but are experiencing homelessness, their cases are sent to this court. And it's basically, you know, restorative justice. If these people are willing to accept the services, whether it be go into rehab, mental health, or whatever community service that relates to what their needs are, they will expunge their record, start clean and fresh, and wipe out the fines. If they assign these things and they don't do it, they're back to square one. They've had tremendous success rate with the Redondo Beach homeless court. So this is very exciting. These are solutions that are a win-win for everybody. And then I just wanted to share that another supportive housing building opened up in CD 15. This one happened to be in Watts. I have a picture of it. And everybody who went down there, I wasn't able to, said it was absolutely amazing. 64 apartments in a completely supportive housing community for people who previously were homelessness. And so they get opportunities not only for health and services there, but education, job training, intensive case management. And usually at these supportive units, they'll pay 30% of their income towards the rent. And once they get going on a job, they can move on, and then new people on the waiting list can move in. So I wanted to share that. And then I also wanted to share that a couple weeks ago, California, the state, launched a mortgage relief program. We've talked a lot about rent relief, but mortgage relief is another program that if you qualify, you can get some help from the state. So that is posted here. And then again, eviction and tenant right information. So those are, if somebody has a problem with eviction, they need to immediately contact Stay Housed LA. Another resource is the LA Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, the Rent Stabilization Department, but they cannot wait. If you get a notice of eviction, you need to respond immediately, or you could lose your opportunity to have some free legal aid. And there's landlords out there are just waiting to evict people because they could charge higher rent when they move new people in. So if you know of anybody in this type situation, please share this information. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. And I just wanted to add a couple of comments. Okay. So my screen's not shared anymore, right?
Right.
Okay. So I really appreciate your trust and confidence in me as the homelessness liaison. As neighborhood council board members and community leaders, we can really set the tone and offer accurate information to our stakeholders on many issues, especially homelessness. As we've talked before, being homeless is not a crime. Often it's not a choice, but rather influenced by circumstances beyond their control, such as losing a job, rent increases, victim of domestic violence, physical or mental impairment, etc. So homelessness does not define somebody as an individual. It's something that a person is experiencing during a fixed period. As board members, we can really reshape the way we think and the way we present information to our community about the issues surrounding homelessness and mental health. We can seek ways to solve a temporary situation in someone's life by eliminating the stigma often associated with this. And I just want to say that we can demonstrate compassion rather than judgment, provide education with proven facts rather than social media chatter, and research and develop solutions rather than pointing fingers. We all took an oath to serve our neighborhood, and that includes serving people experiencing homelessness within our community. And I'm here to always answer any questions or offline help anybody with direct them on anything that they have of concern. And that's it for my report for this month.
Okay, we'd like to take some, since this is an agenda item, we'll take some comments. We'll we'll limit them again to 2 minutes. And it just so happens that I see a hand up and it's from Mr. Regalado. I want to just mention, for those of you who are so inclined, Lori early on was talking about the homeless count. And I just want to let you all know it's a very good opportunity for you to get out there and actually help count those individuals who are suffering from homelessness. And it goes toward an accurate count so that we can get, our fair share of resources to help us in our community by getting these accurate counts. It's such an important opportunity to help your community. And I'm going to tell you, at the end of the night, you really feel pretty good that you actually did something. I had the pleasure of working with a great team, and that team happened to have been Lori and Doug Epperhart from Coastal San Pedro Neighborhood Council. And aside from being able to do this cool work, it was fun. We had fun. We were able to talk on a whole bunch of different subjects, and at the end of the night, like I said, I really felt good. I was able to sleep very well that night. So anyway, I'll go ahead and stop. If anyone else has any comments, please raise your hand. And I see another hand. Gwen, you're up.
Lori, I really appreciate your reports. Really do. Just a couple of things. If anybody has Spectrum News goes through and actually has detailed things about some of these new developments, such as the Torrance pallet shelter and the Watts thing. If you happen to have it, check out Spectrum News on a regular basis. And also, Lori, I have difficulties. I'm going to have to talk to Christina about this, but getting your reports and downloading them. Could you just forward them to the neighborhood council? I don't know if anybody else has that issue.
They're listed as supporting documents in the agenda packet, and they're also posted on the website monthly as PDF files.
I understand, but some of your links I'd like to be able to access, and what happens is it won't download for some reason, which is a technical problem that's been on.
I'm sorry, you didn't mean the link to the report. You mean the links within the report.
Correct.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Gwen. Anyone else? Okay, Gwen, you can go ahead and lower your hand. And Lori, thank you so much for the report, and thank you so much for the work that you do for the community in this very important area of homelessness. I'll be honest with you, I really look forward to your reports, and that LA HOP number is really important. Everybody, if you see it's like one of those things, if you see something, report something, or however LAPD would do it. But in this particular case for homelessness, it's really important. Anyway, I'm through preaching and all that stuff. Lori, thank you so much for your report. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 4, which is the elected governmental and public safety representatives. I did see Octaviano. I don't know who else might be on the other, from any of the other.
Sean Kearns is
Sean
from
Kearns?
a government official.
Okay. Tell you what, why don't we go with Sean Kearns, and then we'll go with Octaviano, and then see if we have anyone else that will jump in. Sean?
Hopefully you can unmute.
Sean, you are able to talk if you can unmute. Do you want to move on to Octaviano and come back?
Okay, let's go ahead. Octaviano, your turn.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Octaviano with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. As you can see, I'm not participating via phone, so I have time if you get some interruptions here. So I'll go through my report. Hopefully everybody's having a good summer and had a fantastic Independence Day celebration. Just real quick, and I believe I covered with quite some detail some of the election information, but just wanted to remind you all of your elections for Northwest and Pedro. With regards to some of the material that's going to be flowing back and forth between board members and your City Hall partners. The designation for your region is number 12, as many of you know. So your election material will be categorized under that region, 12. Your election day is Saturday, April 1st of next year. So mark your calendar for that. And there will be some other relevant details and dates as we move closer to the election season. And your election administrator within the city clerk's elections division, her name is Naima Pulliam, and she can be reached at naim.pulliam@lacity.org. I will, of course, email you that information if I haven't already done so. For the department, just a reminder, we are hosting a town hall. I was out last week, so if you try to reach me last week, I apologize for not getting back to you today. I was going down the mountain of emails, so I may have received a link to this weekend's upcoming town hall for the department to discuss and listen to stakeholders with regards to the development of our election outreach for the neighborhood council system-wide. That's going to be held this Saturday. So as soon as I get that link, I'll forward it on to you all if you haven't received it already. And just because it's July, I do want to remind board members and stakeholders that are tuning in that we in the department have a wealth of resources for those that are considering joining the board, running for a seat, seeing what being a board member is all about. If you go to empowerla.org/workshops-trainings, you have some modules, 3 modules that cover onboarding subjects that you can get a better in-depth understanding of what our board members' roles and responsibilities are. We also have recordings on the political and legislative workshop and hosting neighborhood council candidate forums, drafting and submitting community impact statements. There's a town hall recording on that. And last but not least, including slides. So those are open to the public, as well as many other workshops held by us and the city clerk's office funding division. So just in the spirit of starting this fiscal year fresh and reminding everybody of what your resources are. And of course, you have your partners at City Hall. You have the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. You have the City Attorney's Office, Neighborhood Council Advice Division. You have the City Clerk's Elections Division, City Clerk's Neighborhood Council Funding Division. So that's quite a bit of partners to help our volunteer board members, elected and appointed, help with capacity building, help with increasing your efficacy in reaching your goals, in identifying your priorities for your neighborhood, and communicating those needs to City Hall, which is essentially your focus, your mission on the board. Among other things, of course, hosts of events and relationship building, and so many other wonderful things that our neighborhood councils do, our 99 neighborhood councils do across the city. So back to some of the upcoming workshops in that spirit. So the Neighborhood Council Funding Division has 2 workshops that are coming up. Neighborhood Council funding program workshops, which will cover the fiscal year administrative packet annual budget form. That will be held July 21st from 6 to 7:30. And for financial officers who want to renew your funding your funding training. The next one will be tomorrow from 2 to 4, and the one after that is July 26th from 6 to 8. And of course, it's RSVP, and I'll send you all a link in my post-meeting notes. Last but not least, again, with the spirit of starting fresh, with reminders with regards to conflict of interest. Just a quick reminder, this is kind of a lengthy one that I want to read out that came from the city attorney's office. Any board member who may have a conflict of interest and has not consulted with the office of the city attorney should move to have the item on the agenda tabled until the next meeting so that the board member has an opportunity to consult with the city attorney's office. If the board declines to table the matter, the board member may want to consider recusal prior to the matter being discussed. If choosing to recuse, the board member should state for the record all reasons for the recusal and that they will be leaving the meeting during the discussion and voting. Because recusal may not always be sufficient, tabling of the matter at issue is always preferred to allow time for the board member to consult with the city attorney's office. And folks, that's it. If there are any other items that come through my desk after tonight, I will surely make sure that I include it in my post-meeting notes to you all, or as an independent email to you, just focused on that particular topic. And again, thank you, Mr. Chair and board members and stakeholders.
Okay, since we need public comment on this agenda item, we'll just take them per speaker. And I see a hand up for apparently for you, Octaviano, make a comment by Lori Jacobs. Lori?
Hi, thank you. Hi, Octaviano.
Hello.
Two things I wanted, you probably know by now, but Joanna Rodriguez, Mayor Garcetti's Harbor Area Rep, is stepping onto a new role within the city. So we're going to have a new representative, which we should hear about soon. But the other thing, I had a question for you. If the election for the board is on April 1st, and our board usually has the new elected people sit in the, join the board in July, is that going to happen where there's, a couple of months where the newly elected people are not on the board, or are they going to be appointed sooner? How is that going to work?
Let me revisit the policy. It's been about 2 years since we looked it over, and I'm not sure. I'm thinking we're not going to have any policy changes with regards to the seating of new board members, newly elected board members. And I remember there being some flexibility during the last election for those boards that wanted to seat their board members right after the election results were certified, right? So I'm going to have to get back to you and the board with a more solid answer if anything's going to change, at least for now, what the answer is now. But I want to say, and again, just to clarify, last time some board members were allowed to seat right at the next board meeting once after the elections were certified, and others waited for July 1st to be seated. And also, your bylaws may state something a lot more specific that clarifies that point. And I'd have to go back to the policy to see how that marries, how that reconciles with bylaws for our 99 councils.
Yeah, thank you. It wasn't an issue for our particular board because we were kind of last on the election list, but this time it may be. So you're saying that the neighborhood councils are sort of autonomous to be flexible on that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Any other hands up for Octaviano? Okay, Lori, you can lower your hand if you'd like. And let's move along to Sean Kearns. Sorry. Is he able to talk?
He is able, but he's still muted, so I'm not sure if he's there or not.
Sean, can you unmute yourself? Hello, Sean. Okay, maybe there's some technical situation here. Sean, if I could ask that if you have information to pass along, perhaps maybe you could email it to us and we'll make sure that we include it in the minutes so that people can have it, or send it out to our people. Okay, since Sean is also an agenda item, part of the agenda item, I see a hand up and it looks like it's Gwen who wants to ask a question or make a comment. Gwen, go ahead.
Well, if Sean is available, I hope that he will be able to join us at the Joint Environment and Sustainability Committee meeting this upcoming Thursday. So I'll send an invitation to him.
Thank you. I see no other hands. Sean, sorry we couldn't get you on. So if you'd be so kind, send us some information and we'll make sure it gets distributed. Okay, let's go along and go to our next, do we have anyone from public safety? I don't recognize anyone. I don't think so, do we?
No, there's nobody.
Okay. So let's go ahead and go to our next agenda item number 5, which is the consent calendar. We have 2 items on the consent calendar: to approve the June 13th board and stakeholder meeting minutes, and B, to remove Christian Guzman from the port committee. This is by his request. And so does anyone would like to remove any of these from this agenda consideration? I see no hands. Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second, Norman seconds.
Okay, Dan moved.
Dixon and Norman.
And I'm sorry, who was the second?
Thomas Norman.
Thomas Norman. Okay, great, thank you. Any discussion?
Ray,
Yes, sir.
for purposes of the recording, would you repeat Christian's name? It was garbled when you said it.
I'm sorry, it's Christian Guzman. It's item number B or letter B on the consent calendar.
Thank you.
I see no hands for discussion. So Vic, will you be taking the vote count?
Yeah, I'll do all the vote counts.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, for consent calendar, John Barbera,
Yes.
Vic Christensen, aye. John DeMiglio,
Yes.
Dan Dixon,
Yes,
Gwen Henry,
Yes,
Melanie LeBrecq,
Yes,
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Alec Norman, gotta unmute.
Yes, if you can hear me.
Yes, I got it. Thomas Norman,
Yes.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
Adrianita Reyes Cruz,
Yes.
Angela Sumner,
Yes.
Chris Valle.
Yes.
It is unanimous with 13 ayes, no nays, no abstentions.
Thank you, Vic. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 6. These are our motions. We have 2 sets of motions we'll be talking about. First one will be budget and finance. The next one will be the environment and sustainability. So Melanie, you want to go ahead and take care of the motions under budget and finance?
yep. So this is out of committee.
What?
Okay,
Yeah,
and
Vic,
also,
Go ahead. Melanie, hang on a second.
no,
Vic has a
I know
question.
what he's got his hand up for. He's
Oh,
trying to
okay.
remind me of something.
Okay.
So John DeMiglio and Cynthia Gagne have not done their training at all. And so due to that, they cannot vote on any funding matters at all at this time until they've done their training. They're both expired.
Okay, thank you.
So this is MER, and we're always, to clarify, we're always a month behind when we do these. So this is to close out the fiscal year for 21-22. So this MER is for June, and then next month we'll start the new one. So this MER is out of committee, and this is for June. So we've got a total of $7,812.55 left. This is what will appear on the rollover statement that we get, that will redo the budget and add it to it in about August, September sometime when they get it to us. And yeah, so this is out of committee. Any discussion?
Okay, it looks like we have a hand up
Chris?
on.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, and I'm sure you've mentioned it before, what's the maximum amount that we can roll over from 1 year?
$10,000.
10,000, okay. And how close were we?
We $7,812.55.
Oh, that is the rollover, okay.
Yep, that's the rollover.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Okay, I see no other hands up.
So I'll call for the vote. Thomas,
Which one?
Yes.
Norman,
Yes. Aye.
and Dave isn't here. John Barbera,
Yes.
Victor,
Aye.
Ray,
Yes.
John DeMeglio can't. Sorry. Let's see. Dan Dixon.
Yes.
Let's see. Gwen,
Aye.
Melanie, yes. Kelly,
Yes. Can you
Nice.
guys let me in off another system?
Kelly,
Yes. I'm trying to enter from another computer. If someone can let me in as a panelist, please.
I'm not exactly sure what the request is.
I moved her.
You did.
Angela,
Yes.
Chris Fallier,
Yes.
and Adrianita.
Yes.
Okay, so then the next thing is the budget, and the same thing, the budget is through June. $7,812.55 left. And down here, same. This is out of committee, so any discussion? Call the vote. Thomas,
Aye.
John Barbera,
Aye.
Victor,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Dan Dixon. Dan?
Aye. Sorry.
And Gwen.
Aye.
Melanie, yes. Kelly,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Chris Fallier,
Yes.
and then Adrianita.
Yes.
Okay, and that's it. So next is sustainability's motions, and I need to stop the share and bring up our Word doc. Let's see.
When are we working on first?
Go back
So,
here. Your
just-
CISs.
Just for information, now we're moving on to the next group of motions, and that's out of environment sustainability. Gwen?
Okay, so there were two items. 1B or B1. We have a CIS and a resolution. This came out of our committee and was approved in committee. So this is something that we've seen on other occasions. It is the Assembly bill and Senate bill that came through the state of California, seeking to get funding for the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy in order to benefit our region, the South Bay region, and enhance the watershed, specifically Dominguez, the Dominguez Channel watershed and Santa Catalina Island. This time, Senator Ben Allen has joined the cause, and he submitted a Senate bill. As of the update is that the Los Angeles City Council, as of the 9th, voted and approved their own resolution, and we are in support of this. So we're just a couple of days late now. They sent it through in record time. So we are in support of it, like we've been for the last 4 years. And forgive me, just as a review, I'll be sending a more simplified version without a bunch of capitals and italics and everything. It was just that the italics are an area on our resolution that is wording that is specific to us. Everything else is pretty much replicates the City of Los Angeles resolution. So once again, it came out of committee, and
So Gwen,
yes.
bear with me for a minute. Is this your CIS that you're doing right now? Because this is, I'm trying to figure out.
You have the wrong one up. This would be,
I have to stop because what we need to do from now on is make sure that everything is in PDF format and not Word in order for it to be easier to share documents for the meetings. It's too hard to go back and forth on these Word documents.
okay. I did that in case of amendment. So again, I believe that you're on the wrong one.
Okay,
You're on
is
the
that the
second
wrong?
set.
Okay. See, this is why it's a problem because you have to share each and every one of them. So what's the number? Is it B2? 06B2?
It's the S82. S82 is the last digits on there. CIS S82. There we go. Oh, no.
Nope, that's
Still got the S.
55.
Still the other one.
Sorry, people. Let's see. Is it? No, that's 55 too.
Well, for the sake of speed,
55.
why don't we jump to the one that you do have, and then we'll come back to the other one as you look for it.
Okay. Just a sec. Yeah, I don't.
Well, while we're talking,
Okay.
just so you know, the Environment and Sustainability Committee now follows the Joint Environment and Sustainability Committee, second Thursday of every month. And I strongly urge those who can attend to please join or listen to the recording of the Joint Sustainability Committee meeting. We go through a lot of very heady issues, and it would really be very informative. A lot of these things are kind of complicated, and we really talk about it. So anyway, this is the CIS for, you got the right one up.
Yeah.
Okay. So forgive me, guys. It's a little bit wordy. Basically, it can be edited if anyone wants to motion that to remove a lot of the wording. It's got a lot of extras in there. But the board votes to support the bill, which supports funding for our region for enhancement and bringing open space and enhancing the watershed area within our region. And even within our Northwest San Pedro area, we will greatly benefit. But it's a tremendous amount of funding. It will continue the river that has gone from the mountain all the way through the Los Angeles River area. And now we're working on, if you've seen the map, It's a whole other watershed that has been ignored, part of the Medrano Marsh area. And once again, Wilmington and Northwest will greatly benefit from this funding. So if you would like to take a vote.
And this is out of committee, you said, right?
It's out of committee, yes.
Okay. We'll go ahead and take discussion. Any discussion on this particular item? I don't see any hands up. Dan, did you want to say something?
Sorry, yeah, Gwen, is the city piece of this, is that under the sponsorship of Joe Buscaino and Mike Bonin?
Yes, yes. They were the ones who submitted the motion and the city council moved and approved.
Thank you.
We have one attendee. It looks like it's Doug Epperhart. Can we let Doug speak?
I don't see why not. We voted in favor of this, but I notice you guys are being incredibly efficient. You seem to be skipping public comment on pretty much everything.
I beg to
If
differ
I'm
with
not
you. I've
mistaken,
had
but-
public comment on every single one, Doug.
Okay, it's just you ran through those MERs and stuff, and I was just noticing that. I mean, am I the only person here? It's just you guys are being really efficient. So
That's what makes us special, Doug. Thank you.
I
for
know I'm
noticing.
admiring it. I'll tell you. Anyway, but yeah, we supported this item at Coastal.
It's a long time coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. All righty, thanks.
Okay.
I see no other hands up. Oh, I see another hand come up. Hang on. Who would that be? And that is Professor Norman.
Yeah, I was just going to move to a closed debate. Not seeing any, and you know, if needed, you know, introduce a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. So why don't we go ahead and take the vote count?
Okay, Vic, you gonna do the vote count?
Yep.
Do we need a second?
No, this
No,
is
it's
out of committee.
Oh, that's right.
John Barbera,
Yes.
Vic Christensen, aye. John DeMiglio. John DeMiglio. I'll come back. Dan Dixon,
Yes,
Gwen Henry,
Aye.
Melanie Lebrecq,
Yes.
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Alec Norman,
Yes.
Thomas Norman,
Yes.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
Adrianita Reyes Cruz,
Yes.
Angela Sumner,
Yes.
Chris Valle,
Yes.
and John DeMiglio. Are
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
back?
abstain. I'm abstaining.
Okay. Right, 12 ayes, 1 abstention, and no nays. So that carries.
Melanie, would you like to bring up the resolution?
The
That way-
resolution
for the
is,
same item. This is the longer letter that hopefully will go to Ben Allen and Patrick O'Donnell's office, the mayor, Joe's office, and a long list of cities that will also be positively impacted by this. I'm hoping possibly, Ray, that somebody can talk to the South Bay City Council of Governments and about maybe the support. And I'm hoping that I'm going to try to reach out to the other neighborhood councils within our region to try to get support. Again, it had been shelved through committee, but I think with Ben Allen's support, it will move better. But just to make sure, I really would like to help step up on that. So once again, the wording replicates everything in the city council file, except for the stuff in italics, which talks about our benefits particularly. Any questions?
Okay, so we'll go ahead with comment. Anybody? Hands? All right, I do not see any hands up. So okay, a hand just popped up and it looks like it's Mr. Christensen. Go ahead.
Not so much for a question directly about the wording and stuff, but is this item a second part of the same first agenda item?
Yes.
Okay, then in the future, these need to be submitted as separate line items, not part of the same one.
Yeah, I agree, because I was getting a little confused here, because what part was the CIS? Resolutions have to have their own agenda item.
We'll make sure it's corrected the next time around. Thank you for bringing that up, Vic.
And just in general, any single item that is going to be brought before the board to approve needs to be its own item on the agenda. No combinations of things in the same item.
Thank you for the comment. Any other comments, please? I do not see any other hands. So let's go ahead with the vote count. This will be for the resolution. Vic?
Okay, John Barbera,
Aye.
Vic Christensen, aye. John DeMiglio,
No.
Dan Dixon,
Yes.
Gwen Henry,
Aye.
Melanie LeBrecq,
Yes.
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Alec Norman,
Yes.
Thomas Norman,
Yes.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
Adrianita Reyes Cruz,
Yes.
Angela Sumner,
Yes.
Chris Valle.
Yes.
Okay, 12 ayes, 1 nay, it carries.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was item number 2 under B. So will we be able to bring up item number 1 under B?
So just for clarification again, this one also has 2 separate items.
Right,
Yes.
yes, CIS and then the resolution.
This is the one that you had brought up before.
Yes.
So this also came through committee. It actually was a line item on the Joint Sustainability Committee. It's been a topic of conversation for about 2 or 3 meetings now. And then, of course, we had the item on our own committee agenda. And so once it was approved by the Joint Committee, we also then moved that item and approved it ourselves, and it is here before you. So the CIS, once again, some of the past agendas or minutes, my reports, go into a full explanation with a lot of links and good information as to what this is. But essentially, the federal government has put forward a $8 billion funding funding item, and they are requesting that cities put in applications and presentations. Ray?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt, but it looks like the council file that we're making reference to on the screen is the one for item number 2.
Yes, we are done with item number 1 and we are doing item number 2.
Okay, all right, my mistake. Sorry about that.
All right.
Go
So the
ahead.
federal government is seeking candidates. They will likely choose 4 cities for funding for green hydrogen hubs. And what that is there's a lot of support for it. The city council has already moved it forward. They very quickly moved it forward so that the Department of Water and Power and the Port of Los Angeles and other agencies could quickly create a presentation. Now, there were some concerns, environmental concerns about hydrogen. One of the things is that there are two ways to go about hydrogen, and I'll try to be quick. Hydrogen on its own isn't necessarily green. If you take hydrogen and you store it and you burn hydrogen, you're creating the same amount of greenhouse gases, if not more, than if you just burned oil and natural gas and the like. And so there were certain caveats with this that were brought forward by a lot of different agencies. There's been a lot of comment letters on this, and we are also supporting some of these comments. And we have the caveat that a regional green hydrogen hub in Los Angeles would be a great benefit only if these 4 stipulations are met. So if anybody has any questions beyond that. Chris.
Yeah, just to clarify, burning hydrogen doesn't create carbon though. It's just water vapor and heat.
No, there's it actually, burning it outright does create a chemical reaction and greenhouse gases. The way it can be green is if hydrogen is produced through wind, solar, and hydro technologies, and then it is stored in a fuel cell. So hydrogen fuel cells that are like in hydrogen vehicles, it's a fuel cell, and that's where the hydrogen is stored. And when it's in a fuel cell, then the process is green and it creates only water. But if it's burnt outright, hydrogen will also create a chemical reaction with various elements and create a greenhouse gas. So hydrogen needs to be used in a very specific way, and also cannot be produced using fossil fuels. Why create hydrogen by burning fossil fuels? That makes no sense either. So that's what these concerns are. John.
Hydrogen, yeah, it is. But, hydrogen, me being as a mechanic all my life, hydrogen is everywhere. It's mostly in the air and water. So it really doesn't matter. I've learned about this when I was 15 years old. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in the water. It's everywhere in the air. So this is why they chose it.
Any other questions? None? Okay, so for the CIS, and once again, we are supporting the council file and supporting it with these concerns, as long as they're addressed within the proposal and within the development of a green hydrogen hub here in Los Angeles.
Okay, this is for the CIS part of this item. John Barbera.
Aye.
Rick Christensen, aye. John DeMiglio.
No.
Dan Dixon.
Abstain.
Gwen Henry.
Aye.
Melanie Lebrecq.
Yes.
Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Alec Norman.
Yes.
Say that again, please.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Thomas Norman.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Adrianita Reyes Cruz.
Yes.
Angela Sumner.
Yes.
Chris Valle.
Yes.
Say that again.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. That is 11 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstention. That carries.
And then the resolution is essentially the same as the CIS, but it is to be delivered. And the reason it's to be delivered in a letter form, as well as attached to the CIS, is because of the concerns, to make sure that the concerns are brought forward, because a support for a council file can easily be just said, oh, you support it the way it is. Okay, goodbye. So we have these concerns and we're just delivering it in a form where the parties can understand that there are certain stipulations to that. So, and a hand in attendees, Lori?
Yes, you're saying you have caveats. Is that the same thing as I support with amendments, and you're suggesting how they amend it? Because there's no such thing as support with caveats.
Well, I just used that word. It's not really an amendment. They do discuss in there is an amendment to the resolution where they are starting to address these, but these are specific lists of the things to be addressed, and it was in the amendment.
I understand what you're saying, but I think the wording is a little clumsy.
Well,
Just my opinion.
yeah, it's not at the stage where it has to be stipulated. These items are these have to be listed in the current form. So if anybody has a better suggestion, it's not really an amendment. It's something for the people who will be working on the proposal, and should it be approved, these are certain items that should be addressed in the development of the green hydrogen hub moving forward. Yes, John.
Yeah, I suggest we table all this until it's done correctly. Thank you.
Well,
Already been voted on, right?
It is out of committee, but the board here has not voted on it.
does anyone want to amend that word, or is everyone fine
If
with
it's
that?
a simple word change, I think we can just do it right here and now to get it so that we can vote on it. If it's the issue of caveat, if there's something else that might sound better, or we can vote on it just as is.
Was there a second to table the motion, or to table the item?
Well, was that a motion? It sounded like a suggestion, but if
Oh.
it's a motion, then
It was not a motion.
Okay.
I'm seeing no other hands, so I'm going to interpret that the word caveat is going to be accepted as is, or the resolution will be taken as is with the word caveat.
How about condition? Here, I'm going to motion. How about the word condition?
With a condition, the following.
With the condition, the following concerns are addressed.
But then it's not for yours. It wouldn't be a for CIS. It would be a for if amended when you do with conditions.
It is not a full non-support. This is once again, the amendment includes language. There's the motion, and it's in the packet. There is the motion, the original motion, and then there was an amendment near the end that included that some of these environmental issues be concerned, but it was more generalized. So the language wasn't quite specified, and so we are supporting the motion and the environmental conditions, but we're just adding more precise language.
Right, but Gwen, what
we're
I'm
not-
saying is if this is partnering with the CIS and you have it as a 4, if you write conditions in this, then it becomes not a 4, it becomes a 4 if amended.
It's not amended.
Understand what I'm saying? Because conditions are amendments if you're asking for things, certain conditions.
Could I just maybe try to get some clarity on this? Gwen, I think I heard you say that you are essentially writing this resolution with language that you picked out of the actual council file?
The Joint Sustainability Committee has been discussing this over 3 different meetings, and the wording here, and the support of it with these conditions came through multiple committees, and it once again, the reason for this, and not, it originally was going to be not supported until the amendment came through, and I could conceivably read it to you so you can understand what the amendment was. And as soon as that amendment was added to the motion and approved with that amendment, we as a joint group now support it, and we just wanted to specify more precisely the items that are in the amendment, that the things that we were specifically concerned about.
So if I can ask Gwen,
Yes.
the language that we're seeing here is actually the language that you picked up from the resolution from the Alliance?
No, we here in CD15 have a joint environment and sustainability committee. And this was developed through our joint committee. And once again, it's amended to instruct that all of the parties that are concerned with this be required to show that any included projects will improve air quality across all time metrics as compared to fossil fuel use, and include measures to prevent the leakage of hydrogen from storage or distribution infrastructure. Now, within those 2 phrases, it does include the stipulated items that we have gotten a little more precise on. So what we've done is just gotten very precise on 4 items that meet the criteria within this amendment. Okay?
And this was from the sustainability committee that you're part of.
That's correct. And
they're using this exact language.
Yes.
Also. Right?
The language, bear with me here.
This is not your language. You're taking it directly from that language that.
Yes.
From the group.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I see John's hand up again. John, you want to make another comment?
Yeah, who is in this joint committee? Where are the other committees coming from that are involved in this?
Coastal, Central, ourselves, and on an occasion Wilmington, and representatives from the other committees, Harbor City, do join in. But it essentially is representatives from the committees, our committee members, over 3 committees. And we have a large, if you want to look at the recordings, you will see the membership that was available at this particular one, as well as the 2 other meetings where the language was developed for the Green Hydrogen Hub, and a full discussion about green hydrogen as well. So you're welcome to join us. Once again, on Thursday, starting at 6, is the meeting. And then our meeting follows it directly after now. So that's this upcoming Thursday.
Well, Gwen, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move this particular item one way or another. By your invitation to have people attend, we'll say, are you asking us, other people to attend so that we can help understand this resolution better? Or just understand the work that the group does?
The work that the group does.
Okay, so so your invitation has nothing to do with this resolution to get it moved up or down, right?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that our joint committee, Tom, if you have anything more to enhance this with, Tom very graciously interrupted his son's graduation to be able to be there during both the joint meeting and for our meeting to create quorum. So if Thomas, you have anything else to?
Yeah, no, I support the work that we've done, and would recommend we proceed to vote on this and invite folks to come to the committee meetings. But I don't think that's necessary. I felt fully confident that the other neighborhood councils that we work with, have similar interests in San Pedro, Wilmington, and help bring me up to speed with the quality and the reason why we'd want to support that. So I hope everybody here can make a decision without having to watch the tape. The tape is fairly lengthy. So that's what I would say. I am strongly in favor of this and would proceed. We take it to a vote rather than table it, but that's up to the will of the body.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. I think at this particular point, I see 2 hands up. Are they just already, have they been up and the comments were made already?
I have another comment.
Okay, John, this will be your last comment because we're gonna move this thing along. So go ahead,
That's
John.
fine. I just want to make a motion to table it because it's not done correctly. Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a second? I do not hear a second for the motion. So we'll go ahead and go ahead and vote this particular item, this resolution as stated with no changes. And Vic, would you like to take the vote count?
Okay. John Barbera,
Aye.
Vic Christensen abstain, John DeMiglio,
Since I made a motion, can I vote on this?
Yes.
The motion was not seconded, so the one you are voting on is the resolution in its current form.
Okay, no.
Dan Dixon,
Abstain.
Gwen Henry,
Aye.
Melanie LeBrecq,
Aye.
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Alec Norman,
Yes.
Thomas Norman,
Aye.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
Adrian Ida Reyes Cruz,
Yes.
Angela Sumner,
Yes.
Chris Valle.
Yes.
Okay, we have 10 ayes, 1 nay, and 2 abstentions. So that carries.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And just as a reminder, Gwen, in the future, you'll make sure that we separate these things out so that there's less confusion.
In PDFs instead of Word documents.
In PDFs.
Correct.
Okay, terrific. Was that a yes from Gwen? I'm sorry.
Correct.
All right, great. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you all. This was a tough one, but we got through it. if I can just say, I really appreciate this because I think we're really paying attention and we really want to pass good motions and resolutions and things like that. So thank you all for participating in the conversation. It appears now that we are through with the motions. Agenda item number 6, we're going to move on to agenda item number 7, which is Empower LA Virtual Governance Working Group. Melanie?
Yeah, so we had our last meeting for this first series of phase 1 for the working group. We had that last week, and our report is going to be going to Bonk on their 18th meeting. And from there, you guys will be getting some sort of survey soon, the board will, to fill out and answer. And it's kind of a long survey, but I encourage everybody to fill it out and answer the questions in there to help us see where in general all the neighborhood councils are about going back to meetings in person, or how ready they are, etc. So with that being said, so if you can attend Bonk on the 18th too, that would be good too, to see exactly our proposal where it's at. And then we'll be going into phase 2, which will lead up to 14 neighborhood councils will be basically the road test dummies for the hybrid meetings for a period of time. And there will be a series of stuff that they will be using to select the neighborhood councils that are going to do it. So that's it. And we're a ways away from meeting in person still, or doing hybrid.
Thank you, Melanie. Being that this is an agenda item, any discussion, any questions on the item?
Thank you for your work, Melanie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if I can, Melanie, this has been a really difficult effort to get through this because of all the challenges with meetings that are still mandated to be virtual at this particular point, but at some point that's going to change, and we're getting input at Bonk from different entities that some people would just like to go straight to meeting again, or meeting in a hybrid environment where we've been virtual and also. So thank you so much for your work. I know you all are doing some great work.
Octaviano has his hand up.
Octaviano.
This is
Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay. Well, all of us were in the middle of this meeting when an email went out with regards to the survey. So just wanted to make sure to highlight the email that went out about an hour ago, I believe.
Oh,
inviting board members. Yeah, so you and I missed it, Melody. So I was looking through my email right now and I saw that. So since you mentioned, I decided to just kind of bring that up so so you don't move on and pile it up into the abyss of your other
there
emails.
It is. Yeah, I just looked. It's there. And so everybody should have gotten it.
All right.
So fill that survey out.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Octaviano, for the heads up. Anything else, Melanie, on this?
No, that's it. Like I said, it's, there's a group over, like you said, that want to be all, full board, go right into meetings. But a lot of places like us, our meeting place may not be satisfactory to go full board into meetings. There's a lot of things that need to be worked out with a lot of meeting places. And a lot of them too, there's some people that haven't had their ADA check done yet of their meeting space, may make sure it's ADA compliant. I went and met with the guy and did that months ago. But there's a lot of places, meeting places that have not been. And there's, you have to have Wi-Fi. you know, and all of that. And so that's part of the ADA compliance stuff, is having Wi-Fi. So it's going to be a problem. And so all of that has to be worked out. And then you have the challenges of COVID. And with COVID doing its happy dance, going one direction and then the other direction and then the other direction, where is it safe? And, you know, and are people going to be willing to wear masks when they come to meetings? So those are all the things that the working group's been going over. And the idea that maybe we're going to need security to enforce some of these things, you know, who knows?
Well, you bring up some really good points. If I can remind everyone to get that email, look at it and fill it out. It's really important.
I
So,
just pulled it open. Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
okay.
So
We're gonna
I
go
guess
ahead.
I just go right into budget and finance report. There's really
Well,
nothing.
just let me go
Oh.
ahead and make the announcement that we're closing item number 7, and we're going to move on to agenda item number 8, committee reports. We'll start off with budget and finance with
Okay.
Melanie, and also she'll move into public safety. And let's see, are you on here any other place?
No, that's it.
Okay,
That's why I put
Okay,
hers
so-
together.
that's great. Okay,
So
Melanie,
public
you're up.
budget and finance, there was nothing. It's just the MER and the budget. That was it. There was no requests for funding or anything else. So there's really no report other than that of the motions that we did. Public safety was kind of a long one. We had the SLO and the neighborhood prosecutor at our meeting. Lori attended our meeting. Vic Christensen and Ray Regalado came to our meeting. And so they talked a lot about 4118, and I'm not going to read all of this in the report, but it's in the report about the different things. And they clarified a lot about 4118, that things that were more specific about allowances and sidewalks, and that there doesn't need to be a sign for any of these things in A, and then streets and alleys and bike lanes. The B portion of 4118 is also enforceable for street vendors because of blocking sidewalks and in bike lanes and all of that. It all falls under the same ordinance on the B portion. And then they talked about sensitive sites, and that's your parks, your schools, your daycares, libraries, all of that. And those have to have a sign, and those signs have to be posted 14 days before they can do anything with them. And those things have to be done through the your councilman. And then the city council votes on it, and then it passes or doesn't pass, and then the signs eventually go up. Enforcement is very basic. It allows them to basically tell them that they can't be there. And then it allows services to come out and talk to them too. And then if they don't leave or move, then it's a simple ticket that could be a problem later if they don't show up for a bench warrant, but it's not a lot of enforcement that goes along with it, other than they just can't be in these areas. One thing that Officer Ike talked about is, and to be clear to everybody, if someone is showing naked body parts out on the street, ever, any parts of their body other than your basic arm or leg, but I mean, I'm talking about private areas or anything, you're to call 911. It isn't a non-emergent call, it's a 911 call, and it needs to be done immediately. The street vendor situation, they're trying to do more task force and all. if you have issues, you need to contact Ike. He's working with the county health department workers. But to remember that the police are not there to be the enforcers for the vendors and the carts. It's not their show. It's LA County Health Department show, and the police only accompany them as security because there's been a lot of health department people assaulted when they've gone out, and this is why the police accompany them. They are not the ones doing the enforcement. LA County Health Department is. There's an opportunity for volunteers to be trained for dispute resolution program through neighborhood prosecutor. And if you're interested in that, contact the SLO, and they're taking applications. And that's it on the report. Any questions? Gwen?
Elaborate on the dispute resolution program. What exactly is involved?
Dispute resolution program is like within neighborhoods and within neighborhood disputes, basically, that before things escalate, they're training people, because usually peer resolution works better than some big official coming in. And so that's the reason for that, is to get, likely peers and people from the community to do it. Ray?
If I could add, the countywide dispute resolution program was the program that I managed before I retired. That was my program, of which the city attorney's office was one of our contract agencies. And the city attorney has an actual unit that is in charge of dispute resolution on the street level, and they are trained by that unit. I'm not sure how, this is where I'm not sure how the neighborhood prosecutor is attached to dispute resolution.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like, it doesn't work. I mean, you're either prosecuting or you're going to be doing some conflict resolution. So basically, it's the state of California requires any person to be certified to do dispute resolution in the volunteer, has to go through at least 25 hours of training.
Mhm.
I know the city attorney's office does it through their dispute resolution program. Usually it's a little bit more than just 25 hours. I've known some of our organizations that were contract agencies do as many as 40-hour trainings, but it's really good training for people to go through. And it does 3 different types of disputes: street level disputes like neighbor to neighbor, consumer business, school, could be parent teacher, student teacher, that type of stuff. And then you have court-based dispute resolution, so that you can get through court system without having to be seen by a judge. And the final one is something that was mentioned earlier through homeless court, and that's restorative justice practices. And so that's a real good thing. And the city of Los Angeles has a form of the restorative justice through their neighborhood justice program. So if anybody is interested, I can certainly hook you up with the city attorney's contact. I still keep in close contact with them, and I can give you that information. Sorry, Melanie, I didn't mean to.
That's all right.
With that.
Thank you.
And
for the information.
then I'll do any other questions on public safety, and then I'll go over to CPAB report. And that, I was in Lake Tahoe. I watched it on Facebook Live and then did my minutes. They basically, there was just a lot of concerns about a lot of talk about Peck Park Canyon and the fires, concerns about grass removal and the brushland. And Tim was there and he spoke about his concerns about the canyon and him doing the walk. Gwen expressed her concerns about it, you know, going on the community walk through there. The fireworks were really bad. The fire captain says that it's, you know, it's hard to enforce it because they're trying to do it at the level of stopping it before it gets to sale versus, you know, out in the neighborhoods. But it still was out there. Oh my God. Brent McGuire talked about Fleet Week and different things, and talked about the Summit of Americas, why all the cops were short here because they had them all up there. Harbor Station is number 2 in crime in the whole city. The city is up 4%, we're lower. Vehicle thefts, Chevy Silverados and trucks seem to be the theft trucks that are being stolen. Catalytic converters are still up, and consider getting a third-party lock for them. Bloody Thursday. Then they talked about George Matthews was assaulted, an unprovoked assault to himself, and talked about the concern that when he called and it was slow response, and he was told by the watch commander that there was only 10 officers around to respond for the whole Arbor area that day. He wanted to know where we could get more officers. And one of the things that was suggested is to attend the police commission meeting that's every Tuesday. They said that they're mandated to 7 minutes or less for a 911 call. Harbor averages 6.1. 25 minutes for non-emergency priority calls. Harbor averages 22.9. 1 hour, 20 minutes non-emergency lower priority calls. Harbor averages about 48 minutes. You want to make sure when you call 911 that you give as much detail as possible to have your call prioritized properly, because if it's vague, you're going to go on the bottom of the rating list, you know, for your call to be responded to. Let's see. Talked about different incidents. Then John Garza talked about 4118 there too, and he basically said a lot of the same things that he said at our public safety meeting. Then our area, 0 homicide, 0 rape, 700% robbery increase in our area. Decrease in aggravated assaults, 31.3 before and now 1611. Total violent crimes increased 23%, was 19 and it's now 20. Burglaries increase was 6 and now 11. GTA was 12 and now 22. Motor vehicle thefts was 16 and now 12. Property thefts from vehicles, 66% increase. Make sure you lock your cars and remove valuables. That attracts thieves to smash windows and break in. If you haven't invested in a camera system or a ring system, it is recommended. Secure your homes if you leave. Tell your neighbor to watch your place so your eyes are on it. Don't post that you are gone on social media. And then the same thing I put every month. Remember to keep using the online system to report a crime. If your type of report needed is not on the list online, then call the non-emergency or 911 if it's an emergency. Even after the fact, if something's happened like an attempted burglary in your home and you realize it when you are gone or come back and it's after the fact, still call it in and they'll send an officer to your home to do a report after the fact. And that's it. Any questions? Yes, no? Okay. Alrighty, well, that's the end of my reports, and let's mosey back to the agenda.
All right, thank you, Melanie.
So now we're on executive committee. Looks like.
So we'll hit the executive committee. So would any of the executive committee members like to say anything before I say a couple of things? Chris? Vic? Melanie? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just a couple of real quick things. First of all, as you know, and I apologize for my dog. Let me go close the door. Hang on. Sorry about that. She's been ultra active this afternoon or this evening. Usually she's asleep by now. Anyway, so a couple of items. Christian Guzman has resigned from the board and all committees effective July 1st. Melanie Lebrecq has been appointed to one of the 3 Region 12 grievance panel members. Now, just real quick, there is a grievance panel that is developed in each area. Our area is identified as Region 12, and they have a panel that will listen to any and all grievances that are filed. Now, the grievance process goes through Dunn. Dunn will make the assessment to see if it's a valid grievance, and then if it is deemed valid, then they will conduct a grievance process where they will present the facts in front of a panel, and then that determination is made about the panel. So Melanie, congratulations. I hope you have hope it's not a difficult endeavor. Let us know how it goes when you sit in your first one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any come up yet, so we'll see.
Well, I understand that one is in the making right now, so just kind of be ready.
Okay.
And real quick, I want to mention something here that I think is really important to mention. I want to make sure that everyone, all committee chairs, please do your best to turn in your reports and motions and everything by a due date. There will be a follow-up email to kind of identify dates and times, but it's really important that all reports make it to the agenda, all supporting documents make it to the agenda. And the important thing is identify the motion language that best describes what we're going to be talking about when we're reviewing a motion on our agenda in our monthly meetings. This is really important because we have to work on a timeline, and we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to be able to do our due diligence and making sure we meet our timeline when we're submitting our agenda for posting under the Brown Act. So I just want to have everyone remember that it's really important to do that. I see some hands up, and I'm going to take them in the order in which I saw them come up. But I think I'd like to kind of, I see Vic's hand. Vic, do you want to say something in regards to one of the items?
Just very quickly, a quick correction. When it comes to agenda items, supporting documentation is not necessary at the same time as the wording for an agenda item. So even if you don't have all the supporting documentation ready, you can still send the wording for the agenda item and then follow it up later with the supporting docs. That's all.
Thank you. And I really appreciate that, Vic. I would just like to promote and suggest that when you're ready to submit documents, and Vic was very right about, about the submission of the other pieces, but the language is really important. But if you can, it would just make everything just so much easier for all concerned if all the documentation and everything is submitted all at once. But it's being passed along to the people who will be posting it. So thank you, Vic. I appreciate the reminder on that. I saw Gwen's hand up, and then Professor Thomas, Norman, then you'll be up next. I think those are the hands that I see at this particular time. Vic, did you have another comment? Let me just go with that.
Yeah, sorry, but another quick correction. The supporting documentation does not go to us who are creating the agenda.
Right.
Supporting documentation gets sent to Christina to post. The only thing that goes to, in this case, me for the agenda is the wording that is to go on the agenda. And there are very rare instances, and the only one I can think of right now are amendments to bylaws where the supporting documentation or amendments have to be posted at the same time or on the same required schedule as the agenda. But for anything else, it can be really before the same time or after, but it does not go to us. It goes to Christina to post.
Right. Thank you. Okay, so let's go with Gwen, Professor Norman, and then Melanie. I see her hand up, and then we have Lori Jacobs will.
I actually believe Thomas Norman was ahead of me, so I will yield to them.
Okay, my comment was quick. I just wanted to thank Melanie for her service and congratulate her publicly.
Thank you. That's nice. Gwen, you're up.
Yeah, and with that, congratulations, Melanie. Will there be kind of an explanation as to what the scope of grievances is at some point? It's a little, I mean, it's a little vague as to what the scope of a Region 12 grievance might be. I assume it's within the board itself, or would it be policies or bylaws or anything of that nature as well? You're on mute.
It's all of that. And if somebody files a grievance, it could be anything, but usually a grievance is against the whole board.
Or individual.
So
not an
an
individual.
individual files it against the whole board when it's a grievance.
Oh.
So it's the whole board that's either gone against bylaws or gone against some sort of item, problem, or it can be, it varies.
Thank you.
But why I had my hand up, Ray, was also, were you going to talk about representation at meetings?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of.
Do you want me to talk about it, or?
I mean, you could, in general terms, please.
Okay, in general terms, okay, when we as board members go to meetings that other people have been appointed liaisons with, you don't identify yourself as a neighborhood council person there at the meeting, other than unless you like anecdote it in with, and I'm here as a stakeholder, because then they assume that you're there representing the neighborhood council. There's people that have been appointed as liaisons for certain things, like Lori with homelessness and myself with CPAB, that have been appointed. And so they're accustomed to the fact that to see us as the representatives of Northwest there. And when other people come and say, I'm here representing Northwest, they think, oh, well, they appointed a new person. And yeah, so there are people that are appointed for those positions. So you need to annotate that I'm here as a stakeholder though. And that's the same with president's meetings for Ray. You can't speak on behalf of the board if Ray has not appointed you to do so at meetings.
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, I was going to make a quick mention at the end of this session, this item here, just to remind people that we all have the opportunity to participate in all meetings that are Brown acted, but identifying yourself, whether you're representing the neighborhood council or you're representing yourself as a stakeholder at these meetings. Because we do want to make sure that people outside of our group understand who we are and who and what we're representing. So it's really important that you know, just you identify your role in that particular meeting. And so just making sure that everyone understands that if you're not there representing the neighborhood council, you're there as a stakeholder. So I see Lori's hand up. Lori.
Hi, thank you. These are all really great reminders. I appreciate that. When it comes to posting meeting minutes and supporting documents, sometimes I think we're just trying to beat the clock or something, but remember, we want to give board members and stakeholders as much time as possible to be able to review them. We used to sort of have a rule that supporting documents had to be in there at the same by 5 o'clock on a Thursday to give people a chance, you know, without having to kill their weekend, to be able to read them, especially on meetings where you have a lot of supporting documents and you want to give them the attention they deserve. So I encourage everybody, don't wait till the last minute. You know, as soon as your meeting's over, finish the minutes, get the supporting documents in. The sooner they're posted, the better a chance people have a chance to really go through them, come up with good questions, and be well prepared at the meeting to speak on them. So I'm a little confused by Vic's comment where he said you don't have to get the supporting documents in at the same time. Maybe that's a change that you've instituted.
Okay, Vic, equal time.
Well, yeah, my point, I didn't say you could not. I said that it wasn't required to be on the same schedule as the agenda for a Brown Act meeting. Obviously, frankly, for both the agenda and supporting documents, the earlier the better. But I was just saying it didn't have to be on the same schedule, but if it is, that's great.
It used to be a requirement too, to remember that Christina has a life and you can't expect, you know, turning things in after hours for her to be working after hours to post things. So I think we sometimes need to show a little respect for her time, in addition to wanting to give everybody as much advance notice as possible. I don't know what the problem is. After your meeting's over, just do it.
Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. And Vic, thank you for the clarification. I just want to make sure that along with supporting documentation, along with the motion language, don't forget that we need also the reports from your meetings, which is also important so that they can also be posted. So the key here is to turn them in as early and quickly as possible so that people have the opportunity, as it was stated, to be able to review them for our upcoming meetings. Okay, if no other discussion, then we're going to go ahead and move on to item D, and that is youth and outreach. Chris, anything?
Yes, thank you. And speaking of which, apologies for a lack of submitted minutes, point taken, mea culpa. But we also had no motions, agenda items. We said basically a lengthy discussion about the role of social media and neighborhood council's presence in the conversation about homelessness, which is one of the crises that as the neighborhood council we have more leverage and more direct contact with than a lot of other broad societal emergent issues. So we discussed basically the role that the Youth and Outreach Committee in particular, but the board as a whole can take in changing or adding to the conversation and conventional wisdom about homelessness, considering that we have access to information about programs and conversations with public agencies that we can, and I believe the consensus was should, publicize, make available to the community, because a lot of the conversations on homelessness start organically. People will be reacting to something in the neighborhood that they dislike or are shocked by, and because these things can be salacious or scandalous or just irritating, they tend to take on that kind of energy, and there are missed opportunities. Not that other community members don't offer those other viewpoints, but since we know how the conversations on these things tend to proceed, that is instigated by the people who are the most upset by whatever it is they witness, we have opportunities to interject, not necessarily in specific conversations, but to publicize and publish information from these other public agencies, things that the neighborhood council has learned that make the homelessness more of a three-dimensional issue, that provide, for instance, when you see something and you say, why is it like this, or I didn't like that, or whatever, that we may be able to provide either informational resources, other sort of verified or kind of more positive aspects of the issues, that is in terms of information about programs and services that affect a specific, if there's an encampment, or there's dumping, or there's disorderly conduct, or whatever, there's police issues, that we are more proactive in putting that information out, not forming our own opinions, not editorializing, but taking the information that is often provided to us, not only by Lori Jacobs, but by other public officials, and putting that, whether it's into social media or newsletter information, or wrapping it into events, that we take the opportunity to try and improve our the institutional knowledge within San Pedro. So like we have our own kind of take on San Pedro's issues with homelessness, and the neighborhood council can be a actor to sort of raise the level of discourse and to provide and to reinforce more constructive information, that isn't simply, observing, pointing out, or complaining about the things that we already see. And that was what we spent most of our time on.
Thank you. I see a hand up, Lori.
Yep, it's me again. Thanks, Chris. Based on that discussion at the outreach meeting, I have reached out to Sherry Weaver, one of the key people over at Harbor Interfaith, and she has tentatively agreed to be our presenter at the August meeting. So you can think about what questions you may have. And we're working on trying to get somebody who with lived experience, who was experiencing homelessness and has gone through several programs, because I was told that we want to hear some success stories. We just don't want to hear all the sad data. So I just want to let you know that's what we're trying to do for the August meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Yeah, and that's a success stories that actually I see it underlined on my whiteboard here. We want to provide information that, we hear how people are dissatisfied with loss, or with people, we wonder where all the money's going. There are people being helped. There are people whose lives are improved. And not only do we want to, underscore the success of the services that have helped them, but to, to give courage to people who, whether it's their own personal experience or someone else's, to know that there is a way forward, that there are things to be, taken advantage of and to use to improve their situation. So that's something going forward. I'm glad to hear that we have some people who may be willing to share their stories, and we'll be working on ways to create some content, essentially, to help to tell those stories in as many ways as we can.
Thank you, Chris. Is that it? Oh, I see Vic's hand up. Vic, is this a comment on youth and outreach?
Yes, Chris, in the spirit of as soon as possible, let me know the details and when you have confirmed that this presentation can take place so we can put it on the executive committee agenda to prepare the next agenda in August.
Yeah, that would be, well, I'm sure we will, I don't know if we need to move on it in the committee level, but if Lori's made the liaison with that person, I will bring it up at executive if it doesn't come up in committee.
I'll follow up with you guys because I'm going to be on vacation, so I'll get you the info.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let's talk about planning and land use, and I believe Mr. Norman.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty simple this week or this month. The first thing is there's a 137 unit project that is at 511 South Harbor that is currently in the plan check phase, and they are expecting to do construction in like October, November, around that time. And the next proposal was that there's going to be like a self-storage unit that is being proposed at 825 Miraflores, which is right next to the pet center on North Gaffey. So that's going to be an interesting thing. They also kind of said that it'd be used as a noise buffer, so it's something positive to the community as well. Some more information about other projects that are happening is the Ports Front Street Pacific Avenue beautification project has finally gone out to bid, and I believe they're starting construction in October. The next thing is that the connectivity plan is scheduled to go to the BOHC in July 14th, and I think it's SWA has been selected as the consultant. The next thing is that for the PAPE, they have finally said that they're going to start looking at things in the 5-year increments. So that's a positive. We've been looking for that for a while. And then there's the West Harbor project that's expected to begin construction in October, but there's going to be a groundbreaking in this summer. I do not know exactly when. The most interesting thing that's happening now, though, is the zoning code update, which is not the housing element one. It's actually the planning department changing the zoning for San Pedro to make it basically account for the new zoning that was just happened because of the election and the new districts with the Senate and the House. So that's pretty much it with planning.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Alexander?
Gwen?
All right, Gwen, go ahead.
That last bit of the fragment. So the zoning has to do with the rezoning of the political seats, or the rezoning is because of recent legislation that came through the state?
From my understanding, I'm pretty sure it was the new, it's basically the new district that they drew. So I think it was with the new seats, because this was I believe, don't quote me on this, you might want to ask Diana, but that was my understanding.
Thank you.
Okay, I see a hand from one of the attendees, and that is Lou Caravella.
Hi, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Do we know if it was based on the census? I think it could have been. The discussion at least started around then.
I believe that is part of the reason, because we are now down a seat in California. So that's what caused all of the districts to change their zoning. So I believe that is what is part of that. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Gwen, one more comment and then, no? Okay, I see your hand went down. Thank you. Okay, I think we're through with that. Thank you, Alexander, for the report. Appreciate it. Dan, am I seeing your hand move? Did you want to make a comment?
No,
Okay.
sorry.
But
Ready?
you are next on community issues.
Right. Thank you. I want to thank Alexander for an outstanding report. A lot of information there. And one of the things that planning and land use is dealing with is the requirement by the state that every city in the state cough up additional properties for upgrade zoning to put more units on them. And that's something that the committee and we will all be following with interest. It's on a fast track by the state. And it's important to communities like ours with a lot of small lots and single family residences, as well as duplexes, quadplexes, and apartments. But thank you, Alexander. Good job. As for back to community issues. At our meeting, April Jones of the San Pedro Skate Park Association reported to us, filled us in on the skate park progress, and I'm going to ask John Barbera to comment on that. John.
Thanks, Dan. So we have April Jones, who came in and gave us a little presentation of what's been going on and what they've been doing and all of the artwork and stuff. And they've got some pretty great guys, especially one from LA that's going to be putting up a good art piece over there at the Channel Street. They're just waiting on the okay and everything. And also they're just waiting on our city council and everything, for their go ahead and they're okay and they can move on and everything. They've been waiting for a while. They just need the okay to continue, check off that everything is good, looks good, and that they will be doing, finishing up with some renderings. There's some more, paintings that they're going to finish up on. But for the most part, it's just really, it's almost done. They're just waiting on the okay and the pass go and collect their $200 and, continue on. They're hoping, we're looking at getting open here within the next, 5 to 6 weeks, but how LA is, they're just a little slow getting around. So, but they'll get to them. And that's, like I said, that's what she's waiting on. And like I said, everything looks good. If you go by there, you'll see a couple of skaters once in a while, making sure testing it. So, but, we'll have more to you, hopefully in another 2 to 3 weeks and see what she says. And we'll get some more update on it, but that's where they're at right now. So.
Thank you, John. Yes, the artwork, the street art that's being incorporated into the site will be pretty spectacular. And the port and the council office have signed off on that, as we understand. It'll be quite impressive, and it will look one heck of a lot better than everything that has preceded it on that property. It'll be exciting, an exciting place for young people, and a pretty nice place to look at as you go by. The Naval Supply Depot on Gaffey Street is still being worked by the Navy as they sort out how to lease it and gain maximum value for the property. There are, as we've indicated before, there are two pieces to this. One is the property we all know on Gaffey Street with the underground tanks that have been filled in and will never be used again, and the marine terminal on Terminal Island, where vessels are refueled and was used by the Navy for many, many years. The Navy has indicated they have no interest in using it for refueling. So that lease is currently being negotiated, and we understand something will be signed in the not too distant future. we will hear more about that. It's not in the city of Los Angeles, but of course it will have our interest. The property on Gaffey Street probably will be subject to more environmental review, which some of us hope means that there could be different uses contemplated for that property rather than just a pipeline depot. We'll see what happens there, but it puts off any decision by the Navy on leasing the property for quite some time. The environmental review probably adds a year to the process. So we're waiting to hear right now that the Navy has determined to go ahead with updating the environmental report for the property. Alexander mentioned the new self-storage units on Miraflores Street. The other thing we talked about briefly, and that John and I have been talking about, is we get comments from stakeholders and homeowners about the state of neighborhood alleys in our area, which are sad and shabby. And we've been talking to some people and doing some field work, looking at some of the conditions in alleyways and streets. And they're difficult to improve. A lot of things have to happen, including budgeting, scheduling, and neighborhood reaction to reworking alleys. It's a case where it's really important for us to impress our stakeholders with the idea of community cooperation on something like an alley. The people who live on the alley ought to have some say about what it looks like. I would say it begins with maintenance by the neighbors and the community of the alley itself, from trash pickup to removal of old couches to reporting serious health and safety issues in the alley. It's just got to be a cooperative effort by the neighbors. So we want to work on that idea within our committee. And so there'll be some further discussion of that down the road. And finally, in public comment, one of our esteemed committee members, Chuck Hart, expressed disappointment that our committee and all of us in general were not able to or did not do enough to head off the new marijuana dispensary on Gaffey Street. Heading it off was not going to happen, but there are questions about how many marijuana dispensaries or facilities can be located in a given neighborhood. And we are talking to quote unquote local officials about this, and we will have more to report within our committee and to the board in the weeks and months to come. And I believe that is it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, John. I see a hand. We're going to public comment. I see a hand by Gwen and Chris. Gwen, you want to go ahead and go?
I'm hoping there's still time for submitting sidewalk improvement projects. And in regards to the marijuana dispensary, we do have that special situation where we have county land in the middle of our area. I hope that it's within that marijuana dispensaries are within a mile, there's a measurement, and not whether it's in Rancho Palos Verdes versus Los Angeles versus the county, a county unincorporated area. Anyway, with that, I'm still not completely clear if this dispensary on First Street and Bandini has been shut down or not. And I'm hoping somebody might clarify that, because it looks shut down and I've been hearing different things, but then it looks active, but it could be some food that's going on over there. So hopefully.
Thank you, Gwen. Although that's in Central, we've asked the question about the location of and the legality of dispensaries throughout San Pedro, but especially Northwest, and I would say areas near Northwest. So we hope to be getting information about those places that we will share with you as soon as we know what the information is and what the legality of these places is.
And
It's an
actually, it
important,
isn't central.
it's an important question.
It isn't central. It actually is county. That corner is county. It's shocking. Just so you know.
I must have the wrong, is it the mini mart corner or not?
It's right there by numero uno. Yeah, that
Oh,
corner.
numero, yes, that's county. One side of First Street going up the hill is city, and one side is county.
Except for
I
Central.
take your word for it that that's in the La Rambla County area.
Yeah, it's a mess right there at that intersection.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly, it's within the scope of our request to the city to get more information. We'll report back to you.
Chris, you're up.
Thanks. Do you know if the dispensary in Gaffey in question was licensed? Is it legal?
We believe that the one that has taken over the former computer shop, we believe to be legal and licensed. There are others contemplated or opening on the QT in the area that we have asked to be reported on or talked about or looked at. And that's what we hope to get back to you about. Certainly.
So was Chuck, was he upset with the, that it was permitted at all? Or I wasn't sure.
He's a veteran of the LA, 35 years with the LAPD. So the whole notion of legalized marijuana upsets him. I don't blame him. And he's unhappy that we couldn't get it declared a nuisance because of its adjacence to school or recreation area or parks and recreation facility. There, it skirts those issues, but let's just say this: the city of LA is trying hard to get a handle on the whole marijuana dispensary movement that's going on. They have a Frankenstein that they have to deal with, Frankenstein monster of a legalized industry that is completely still the Wild West in many ways. They're trying, I believe, hard to check licensing and to check permits, but it's an opportunity for a lot of pop-up businesses to occur, and the authorities are working on the legality of some of these places, and we certainly intend to follow up with them. There's an entire department in the city now that deals with legalized marijuana, but I just have to think that we're still in the infancy of this giant tax miracle that has occurred that the city is trying to take advantage of. There's a lot of work to be done, and from our standpoint down here on the ground, we want to know that places that do open are licensed and are the authorities are aware of them, and make sure that the authorities hold them to the letter of the law, if not the spirit of it, but certainly the letter of the law. If anybody has any suspicion of any kind of activity that may or may not be licensed, please report it to LAPD non-emergency line.
I
They
see,
want to. They want to know.
I
Thank
see
you.
John's hand up. John, and this will be the last comment so that we can move our agenda.
John, go ahead.
Oh, I just learned something from April Jones. Looks like she's done her homework. The Stone Age dispensary that's there on Gaffey is not for open to the public. They only deliver. You cannot walk in and buy. So it's not a walk-in. It's not a walk-in dispensary. You order it and they will deliver it to your house or wherever you're gonna be. She was concerned about it because they looked at that's the first thing they looked at when they were going to open a skate park. Is this going to affect kids? The kids go over there and walk in, but they said nope. He says we get calls and or however emails, whatever they do, but they do not sell to the public just as walk-ins. It's not a walk-in facility like the one Evolve that's down the street over there on Western. So that's good news.
Thank you, John, and thank you, April, for that excellent information. It is different than what we believed it to be, and it is important because of another facility nearby which is being looked at. This is great information, though. Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
both of you.
With
Thanks.
your permission, I'd like to move on.
Please.
Thank you for the great report. Item G, Environment and Sustainability Committee. Gwen?
Hi all. Sorry. So this is really a public safety issue, but the aspect of the fires over at Peck Park, which has to do with the areas fires in parks in general. Of course, we all know the large one that happened on May 12th, and this has been discussed before. Then there was another brush fire up there on May 13th. There was another brush fire off the triangular brush area just below the 110 freeway Channel Street off ramp. This is not the fire that happened at the skate park, which was a boat. This is a property. This is a grass property that's fenced off that might be Department of Transportation, might be Caltrans. Might be Caltrans, might be another concern, maybe the port. It burned brush to the fence line of the San Pedro Community Garden. And then on June 8th, there was another brush fire at Peck Park, up at the top where, right next to the homes on West Patton, where it dead ends into the park. All of those fires were related to human activity, possibly unhoused. And then this is just a little heads up. It really wasn't on this report, but there was on July 4th another large brush fire that happened in Peck Park on the Hernandez Ranch area, and it required aggressive fire department defense. And illegal fireworks, of course, were part of that. But in regards to that, in conjunction with public safety, I'm trying to find out kind of the preventative measures of what Peck Park can do in order to ensure that these fires don't go out of control. Once again, I believe I've mentioned this before, but the brush clearance, it has to be done on a different schedule, and hopefully with Melanie, we can come up with a letter to the city to request that the schedule for Rec and Park be increased based on new fire schedules. We're on a drought. We're in drought conditions. They're on a single vegetation clearance. It happens just before July 4th. And of course, all of these happened earlier in the spring because the grass is dried up already. So hopefully we can help with that. And there is a lot of community interest now of getting involved with plantings and other activities for improving the actual park. And the regional director of Parks and Rec, that would be Deanne Dedman, welcomes volunteerism from the community. So hopefully, we can help coordinate that. There is, this could be Boy Scout and Girl Scout Gold projects, Boy Scout Eagle projects. Students, colleges can get involved. We actually have a particular person within our own little group here that there's interest in one of the kids getting involved. So it's, like I said, this is interest all the way across our community, all the way to coastal. Then, of course, budget had come back that the port suggestion for air quality monitors and the resolution, it really should come back. It came back from the city that really honestly a 501c3 or other foundation that is a long-term organization should be the recipient of a grant from the neighborhood council. So that's the way it should proceed. But there's still discussion that there are some organizations that meet those criteria, and so we'll try to collaborate on coming up with those organizations, and as well as keep in touch with the South Coast AQMD regarding the status of their contract bids for new air quality monitoring systems. Basically, the South Coast AQMD, they're in between contractors. There's been lots of trouble with their required air monitors, so they're in the midst of contract bids. So possibly keep in touch with them. The California State Department of Transportation, there looks like there could be funds that could be investigated, and a possible collaboration for sensors with them. And then there are some particular sites which are detailed in the notes there that which meet the criteria of all of this. So other than that, just I hope that everyone possibly try to visit one of the joint sustainability meetings, because there are a lot of topics that are rather complicated to go that are discussed there, and at least one, kind of participate. And what we are doing once again is after the joint meeting, our committee meeting will be following thereafter, and I try to follow their agenda. So there could be discussion in the joint meeting and a motion coming out of that from the joint meeting and come through us. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, any questions, any comments? I do not see any hands going up, so thank you, Gwen, for the great report. I'm going to go ahead and move to the port committee is the next one, but we don't have a port chair at this time, and no meeting occurred, so we'll skip over that one. Bylaws and elections. We have not had a meeting, but we are going to have to schedule a meeting because of the vacancy and also the upcoming election. So be on the lookout for that one. That'll be coming up. Christensen Science Center. Vic Christensen?
No report this time.
No report, okay.
Yeah, with the pandemic, nothing really has been going on, so there's nothing to report on.
Great, thank you. Melanie, Harbor Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, Hank?
No meeting yet. They're
meeting.
meeting quarterly now.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, we have the next agenda item is liaison reports, LADWP liaison, Dan Dixon. Anything to report?
Sorry, excuse me, I had to step away.
Sure.
I'm actually working on something that I'll report to, probably start it in the community issues and then bring it to the board. It's not a scandal, it's just some useful information, I think. Thank you.
Is this associated with the LADWP?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll wait anxiously for that. And Public Works, Chris?
Hi, nothing from Public Works, but actually I did have a retroactive question from your bylaws and elections. I think Octaviano might still be on. There was supposed to be an election town hall tentatively scheduled for this Saturday, the 16th, or held by Dunn. Does anybody know if that's happening or if that's the time?
Octaviano is not still on.
Okay, that's a different call-in user.
I'll ask the question and I'll get him to maybe send us some information on that.
Yeah, I just remember that was kind of a tentative date, but I'd never heard anything else. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 10, announcements, future agenda items, anything anyone would like to suggest or talk about? I see no hands up, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. Item number 11, general public comment on non-agenda items, part 2. I see no hands up.
I move we adjourn.
And so we're now on the next meeting will be Monday, August 8th at 6 o'clock. And with no objection, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for being here. Have a
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
take care all.
Have a great week.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.